A very pleasant morning to all of you. Hope you all will be enjoying your holidays along with your family members. As per the instructions of our most respected principal, Shri Surya Prasad ji, I have been entrusted with the responsibility of making a video on communication skills. Undoubtedly, all of my staff members are multi-talented. Still, I can assure you, if you are having the patience to see my video up to end, this will be surely of great help to you. But before I come to my today's topic, doesn't this question come to your mind that why is so important to learn English and also to know its communicative skills? So let's first know the different reasons why learning English is so important. English may not be the most spoken language in the world, but it's the official language of 53 countries and spoken by around 400 million people across the globe. Although learning English can be challenging and time consuming, yet it's very valuable to learn and can create many opportunities. Because English is a language of international communication. English is a language of business. Speaking English gives you access to a world of entertainment. Learning English gives you access to a more of the internet. If you want to speak to someone from another country, then the chances are that you will both be speaking English to do this. While writing and speaking in English as a non-native speaker, grammatical errors come in many forms and can easily confuse and obscure meanings. I am sure this will be quite clear to you now that for each of us, this is very important to learn English and to speak this English correctly. So let me come to my today's topic. My today's topic is communications. So first is definition. Communication is an activity or process of expressing ideas and feelings or are giving people information and instructions. Here you can see that communication is a connection between people sharing information between each other. In the process of communication, all the questions like what, where, when, how, why, who must be very clear to the person who is speaking and also to the audience. The most common ways to communicate are speaking, writing, visual image, that is system of symbols, and body language, that is science of language. In the whole process of communication, writing comprises only 9%, reading 16%, speaking's role is 30% only, whereas listening 45%. That means almost 50% of the total communication process is listening. And listening is successful only on the part of the speaker. If the speaker is conveying the message well, then the listener is also able to get the message in a nice and a correct. So as I told you, that speaker's part plays a very important part in the process of communication. So the voice modulation has to be kept in mind by the speaker. Voice modulation includes pitch. Pitch means the level or the degree of your volume. Pace means speed, whether you are speaking very slowly or you are speaking very fastly. Power means a strength with which you are speaking. And lastly, the pause. Pause means to take a temporary rest. This is also known as punctuation marks. Punctuation marks. This punctuation matters a lot in the process of communication. Punctuation plays a very important role in the process of communication. With a slight change in the punctuation, the whole meaning of the sentence is changed. Now let us make it clear with the help of some sentences. See this sentence, life is nowhere if you are asked to punctuate this sentence, someone can do life is nowhere means here the attitude of the person is fully pessimistic. He is sad, disappointed, and very unhappy. Whereas the other student is writing, life is now here. Here the student is very optimistic. He is full of hope, joy, and happiness. So, the whole attitude of a person's life can be shown changed with the only change in the punctuation marks. See this next sentence. Go get the doctors. Here, you can see that a patient is there and you are requesting someone to go and to get doctors for the patient. Whereas in other sentence with the same words but with the change in comma only, you can see the meaning is changed. Go get him doctors. Here the patient is adamant to go to the doctor. You are requesting the doctor to please go and get your patient. See some more example. Slow children are crossing. There is no comma in between. It means the children are very lazy. They are very slowly crossing the road. Whereas in other sentence, a comma is there. Slow children are crossing. Here, you are giving a caution to the vehicle riders to slow down their speed as the children are crossing the road at this time. One more example. The student said the teacher is crazy. No comma is in between. Means the speaker is the student here. He is giving his opinion about the teacher that the teacher is very crazy. Now see with the addition of a comma in between, the total meaning is changed. The student said the teacher is crazy. Here the teacher is saying that the student is very crazy. Punctuation is really powerful. Here you can see a very nice example. Once, an English professor wrote some words on the chalkboard and asked his students to punctuate them correctly. The words are, a woman without her man is nothing. So all the males as well as the females, they punctuated the sentence, the same sentence in different ways, and they were having the different meanings too. All the boys are the male members in the classroom. Punctuated is this. A woman without her man is nothing means they are making the existence of a woman zero. Without a man, a woman is nothing. Whereas all the females in the classroom wrote, they just gave the definition of the word women. A woman, what? Without her, man is nothing. They are giving much importance to themselves. Without them, a man is nothing. So I am taking the last example now. Let us eat grandma. How monstrous. We are going to make our grandma our prey. Have mercy on her. So, but the mercy is given to grandma by a change in comma. Let us eat grandma. Here how respectful, how decent you are being when you are requesting grandma to please come and join the meal as everyone is waiting for her. So commas matter a lot. So next time, whenever you are writing a sentence, please pay heed where the commas are required and where you are giving, because your commas will change the total sense of the given sentence. Now my next topic for today is the common grammatical mistakes that most people do. So what are the grammatical mistakes? Silly grammar. Mistakes can really make one look dumb. Though a person might be very good at the subject being addressed, grammar mistakes can be big turn off for the reader. So first we will start with verb tense error. First, the inconsistent verbs. You have to look at these sentences and see whether they are right or wrong, and if this is wrong, why this is wrong, and what must be its correct sentence. The first sentence is, She couldn't decide among the two boys. No, this is wrong. Because for two, we use between. And when we are describing or talking about more than two persons, then only we use the word among. So the right word must be, she couldn't decide between the two guys. Second sentence, she wrote to his mother that he is unwell. So you must always keep in your mind that the verbs must be consistent as long as the writer is focused on one passage or on one idea. Be careful not to switch on to another tense within a sentence. Here we are doing the same mistake. He wrote to his mother that he is unwell. In the first part of this sentence, we are using past tense, whereas in the second part of the tense, we have switched on to the present tense, whereas it must also be the past tense. So the correct one must be, he wrote to his mother that he was unwell. Yasir was watching television when he stands up and fixes a snack. The same mistake. The verb is changed in the second part of the sentence. So the correct must be, Yasir was watching television when he stood up and fixes a snack. Next one. She said to me that she liked you. You know, this is narration. The first part, she said to me, this is reported verb, whereas the second part is reported speech. And when the reported verb said to is written in report, when we are doing it into the indirect speech, this is changed into told. She told me that she liked you. Last one. The list of items are on the desk. There is only one list, although so many things may be written on this list, but we are talking only about one list, so it must be singular. The list of items is on the desk. Now, the use of since and for. You may be knowing when we are talking about some duration, not the exact duration, only some duration of time when we are using the word for. But when we are talking about the fixed duration of time, the time period is also mentioned, then we are using since. See the sentence, I have been learning English since 2 years. 2 years, which 2 years? We don't have any ideas. So it must not be since. It must be I have been learning English for 2 years. In the second sentence, this is very much clear, the time. I have been learning English since 2018. But if I write here, I have been learning English for 2018, this is wrong. Whereas it must be used since here as a time period 2018. Exact time is given here. Now, subject-verb agreement. So here we have seen the most people committing this mistake. These are present indefinite tense and past indefinite tense. No doubt I am not able to go in detail of the tenses, but shortly I can tell you in present indefinite tense, when we are talking about singular, he, she, it, this, that, s or es along with the verb is used. But when we are talking about plural along with I, that is I, we, you, they, s or es is not used. So first sentence, every students like the teacher. We are talking about each and every student in the class. So each and every means every single student. Means we are talking about single tense. So s or es will be used. So the second thing, students will not be here because we are talking about each and every person. So the correct tense will be every student likes the teacher. Second sentence, Kendriya Vidyalaya Bantalab welcome all the invitees. Now Kendriya Vidyalaya Bantalab is one family. It must be considered as singular. Singular means SRES according to the verb must be added. So welcome is a wrong word, whereas the right must be Kendriya Vidyalaya Bantlab welcomes all the invitees. Next one, the members of KV Bantlab welcomes all the distinguished guests. Here, we are talking about all the members of Bantla family, means this is plural, and in plural, SRES cannot be used. So, the word welcomes is wrong here. The correct one must be the members of KV Bantla welcome all the distinguished guests. Next one, he is one of those students who never works hard. Means we are talking about a particular set of people, particular set of students. So he is also one of them. So we are not talking about one single student only, but we are talking about all the students who are alike. So works must not be there because this is plural. The correct must be he is one of those students who never work hard. Same sort of a sentence, this does not suit me. So when present indefinite is changed into interrogative or negative, does is added. Does itself contains S or ES, so the second S cannot be added here. It is simply followed by the first form of the verb. So the word suits is wrong. The correct must be this does not suit me. The last one, he didn't wrote the test last week. Same as in present tense, this is the past indefinite and in negative. In negative, did always is a past form, is a second form, and along with this second form, this is followed by the first form of the verb, because two second forms cannot be used in one sentence. Whereas in this sentence, did and don't are the two second forms of two verbs here. So did must be followed by the first form of the word write. So it must be write. He didn't write the test last week. So next I am switching over to the use of some and any. I am sorry if I am being too long here, but when the topic was given to me, so much of content was in my mind that I couldn't decide what to add and what to skip. So please bear with me and try to learn if there is something for you to learn. So let us come to this topic now, use of some and any. Some is used to express quantity or degree. This is always affirmative. For example, I shall buy some apples. Whereas any is used in negative or interrogative sense. This can never be used in affirmative sense. For example, I shall not buy any apples. Have you bought any apples? So accordingly, you must use these two words. Now the next everybody, anybody, nobody, somebody, nobody, no one's. These all words are always taken as singular. For example, let me make it clear with the help of some examples. Everybody are happy. No, this is singular. So it must be everybody is happy. Second one, no one besides the citizens were present. No, it must not be were, it must be was present. So next I am switching over to conjunctions or the verbs with negative meanings. There are some conjunctions which are always having the negative sense. For example, the word unless must not be confused with if. It must be taken as if not. So if already you are using the word unless, means you are using the negative sense, then why to add the word not here? If you are adding the word not here, this will be wrong. Let us clear it with the help of some examples. First example, unless he doesn't apologize, he shouldn't be allowed to sit in the class. Means in the first part this is clear. If he doesn't apologize, Then what is the need of giving not here in the second part? So it must be unless he apologizes, he shouldn't be allowed to sit in the class. I forbade him to go to the picture. Forbade means if you are not giving the permission. Means I forbade him to go to the picture. This must be the right sentence. I didn't meet nobody. So nobody it must not be, it must be anybody. Now there are some relative, also you can say correlative conjunctions. These correlative conjunctions like although, yet, hardly, when, as, and so on. These always go in pairs. Each correlative conjunction follows a set of formula and has to be used in the same manner. No other words can be substituted for any other part of it. Let us see some examples. He is as young as he looks to be. Means as is always followed by as. He is either ignorant or foolish. So the correlative conjunction is either or. He is interested neither in business nor in job. Neither nor. No other job than this will suit you. No other is always followed by than. No sooner did the thief see the policeman than he took to his heels. This is very common sentence and often asked in interviews also. But very rarely a student is able to do it in a correct manner. No sooner is always followed by than. Although is followed by yet, see the sentence. Although he was hard possessed with money, yet he didn't refuse to help me. And the last one, he not only bet me but also refused me. So these are some correlative conjunctions. Whenever you are using these words, try to use by the following words in the correct manner. Now I'll talk about two subjects when these two subjects are used in one sentence. One subject can be singular, the other can be plural. So you will be confused whether the verb is to be used according to the first subject or the second subject. But be clear that the verb in such cases is always to be used according to the first sentence. So the two subjects can be joined by as well as, along with, together with, no less than, in addition to, not, and with. So let us make it clear with the help of some examples. Ram as well as his 10 friends are going. So I told you the subject is the first subject. According to this subject, the verb is to be used. So the first subject is singular, whereas the second subject is plural. But we have to use the verb according to Ram. When we have used it in the first sentence according to 10 friends, or this is wrong. So the correct must be Ram as well as his 10 friends is going. The teacher along with his students were going. No. In the same manner, the verb will be going according to the first subject, teacher. The teacher along with the students was going. The teacher as well as the boys have left. The same. The teacher as well as the boys has left. The boys as well as the teacher has left. No, see the change here? Here the first subject is plural and the second subject is singular. But we have to use the verb according to the first subject. So it must be the boys as well as the teacher have left. Now very important next content is the silent letters. What are silent letters? Let us know. Silent letters are letters that appear in the spelling of words but don't make a sound. According to the British Council, more than 60% of English words have silent letters. So it's impossible to know the pronunciation of a word from its spellings. So let us know some words which are having silent letters. First word is psychology, P is silent here. Receipt, P is silent. Armored, again L is silent. Cupboard, P is silent. Pneumonia, we are not saying it as pneumonia, P is silent here. Fascinate, even if C is not here, this is giving the full sound fascinate, so C is silent here. Sword, W is silent. Doubt, B is silent. Then handsome, this is not handsome, this is handsome, D is silent here. Height, E. Knife, K. Business, I. Honest, H. Muscle, C. Island, S. And people, O. Now the English nut. Now let us try to make our conversation more precise, more descriptive, and more elegant. If we say the phrase very good English, this is not very good English. The trouble is with the word very. Instead of using the word very plus one more word, you can use it a single word that is more precise, more descriptive, and more elegant. For example, instead of very good English, excellent English sounds better, doesn't it? Now you must be thinking that it's not always possible to cut out the word very, but it is. Let us see some examples. For example, instead of writing very boring, you can write tedious, very confused, baffled, very dirty, filthy, very easy, effortless, very funny, hilarious, very interesting, fascinating, very joyful, exuberant, very kind, compassionate, very mad, demented, very painful, excruciating, very tired, exhausted, very ugly, hideous, very vicious, malicious, and very young, juvenile. Now I have come to almost last part. There is an old saying that America and Britain are two nations divided by a common language, that is the pronunciation. Or the accent of British English is different from the accent of American English. Here are some of the words with two different accents or two different ways to pronounce them. So which way should you say these words? You can choose whatever way you like sounds best. So no way is wrong, but you have to see the change in pronunciation of these two countries. For example, I am taking some words. First, I will speak out its pronunciation in Britain and second in America. For example, the first word is privacy. The British people pronounce it as privacy, whereas the Americans as privacy. Schedule in Britain, schedule in America. Vitamin in Britain, vitamin in America. Dynasty in Britain, dynasty in America. Evolution in Britain, evolution in America. Mobile in Britain, mobile in America. Envelope in Britain, envelope in America. Tournament in Britain, tournament in America. Caramel in Britain, caramel in America. Advertisement in Britain, advertisement in America. So please don't get confused. Whatever way you think better, whatever way suits you better, you can follow. Each of these two ways is right and nothing is wrong in this. After seeing this video, now this is your turn to help yourself to speak and to communicate clearly in English. Now I am giving you 8 essential tips for clear communication in English. Don't worry, I am not going to explain them, otherwise this will be very long. I am just going to give you the headings of these tips. First one is keep talking. Find a good speaking rhythm. Make sure you are understood. Repeat what you are told. Ask clarifying questions. Watch your body language, use appropriate language, and practice empathy. The last word, empathy, must be clear to you. Empathy is an important part of communication in any language. Empathy is the ability to understand what someone else feels or says. And to practice empathy, ask yourself what your speaking partners feel or think. Look at their body language and try to understand what their words mean to them and what you are understanding. Now, to conclude, I would like to say only a few lines. Speak properly and in as few words as you can, but always plainly. For the end of speech is not ostination, but to be understood. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching this video.